Hey everybody, I thought I'd make just a short video to talk about the vocabulary assignment. I think it's kind of self-explanatory, and vocabulary honestly is where everybody always shines because that's something we always tend to think about teaching. So I just want to talk briefly about it and give you guys some ideas here. Whoops, that's not the right assignment. Here we go. So the template looks the same as you're used to. The big difference is that underneath your standards in your big essential question, you have to give me a vocabulary list. And I'm just asking for 10 to 15 words and their definitions, because I'm thinking about it largely as part of a unit. So for you, a unit might be 4 weeks, or it might be 2 weeks, or it might just be 1 week. But 10 to 15 words, and then just a short rationale. So like a short paragraph explaining why you've chosen these words. And then the vocabulary activity is a little bit different because it has 3 parts. So I'm going to have you pick a strategy for introducing the vocabulary, teaching the vocabulary, and reinforcing. And remember, some of the strategies can be used in multiple areas. So, for example, in my lecture, I might have talked about, etymology in the teaching part, and you might say, well, in the book, they said etymology could be used for reinforcing or introducing or wherever it also fits in. And that's fine. I just want to make sure you realize that just because in my lesson I taught it somewhere doesn't mean it can't be used somewhere else. But you should pick 3 different strategies, okay? So you think about what you would do on day 1, and you're going to just give me what you usually do, just a brief overview of how you'd use the activity to introduce the 10 to 15 vocab words. Then you have the teaching, and I want you to pick one more strategy and explain how you would do it. It might be the same day. It might be right after the introducing activity, and that's fine. And then I want you to pick one activity for reinforcing. And so this is where students are like, I don't really know what I would do for reinforcing. And I encourage you to look at the last slide in the voice thread to kind of look at some of the ideas there. And that's it. So I like to tell students, this is like a 3 mini activity type lesson. You don't have to give me 5 to 10 paragraphs for every single activity. If you have, 2 to 4 sentences for each of these activity parts, that would suffice for teaching the vocabulary. And your instructional steps, I would just number those. Say first I would do this, then I would do this, and then I would do that. And I think that's a good way. And then a sentence or 2 for differentiation. And a lot of you have focused on ELL and ESL in your differentiation, but I also encourage you to think about your gifted learners. Don't forget about them. They're there too, and we differentiate for them. So maybe stretch your limits a little bit and think about your higher learners and the kids who are sitting there like reading their book while you're teaching because they're bored. What would you do to differentiate for them? Give them a little bit more brain exercise.